So today we are going to see about CAM 16 reading test 1 passage 3. So already we saw the other two passages. Today we are going to see about the third passage. Yes. The third passage is future of work. According to leading business consultancy, 3 to 14% of global force will need to switch to a different occupation within the next 10 to 15 years. And all workers will need to adapt as their occupations evolve alongside increasingly capable machines. Automation or embodied artificial intelligence is one aspect of the disruptive effects of technology on the labor market. Disembodied AI, like the algorithms running in our smartphones, is another. Dr. Stella Pachdi from Cambridge Judge Business School believes that some of the most fundamental changes are happening as a result of algorithmification of jobs that are dependent on data rather than on production, the so-called knowledge economy. Algorithms are capable of learning from data to undertake tasks that previously needed human judgment, such as reading legal contracts, analyzing medical scans, and gathering market intelligence. In many cases, they can outperform humans, says Pachdi. Organizations are attracted to using algorithms because they want to make choices based on what they consider as perfect information, as well as to reduce cost and enhance productivity. But these enhancements are not without consequences, says Pachdi. If routine cognitive tasks are taken over by AI, how do professions develop their future experts? She asks. One way of learning about a job is legitimate peripheral participation. A novice stands next to experts and learns by observation. If this isn't happening, then you need to find new ways to learn. Another issue is the extent to which the technology influences or even controls the workforce. For over 2 years, Pachdi monitored a telecommunications company. The way telecom salespeople work is through personal and frequent contact with clients, using the benefit of experience to assess a situation and reach a decision. However, the company had started using an algorithm that defined when account managers should contact certain customers about which kind of campaigns and what to offer them. The algorithm, usually built by external designers, often becomes the keeper of knowledge, she explains. In cases like this, Pachdi believes a short-sighted view begins to creep into working practices, whereby workers learn through the algorithm eyes and become dependent on its instructions. Alternative explorations where experimentation and human instinct lead to progress and new ideas are effectively discouraged. Pachdi and colleagues even observed people developing strategies to make the algorithm work to their own advantage. We are seeing cases where workers feed the algorithm with false data to reach their targets, she reports. It's scenarios like these that many researchers are working to avoid. Their objective is to make AI technologies more trustworthy and transparent so that organizations and individuals understand how AI decisions are made. In the meantime, says Pachdi, we need to make sure we fully understand the dilemmas that this new world raises regarding expertise, occupational boundaries, and control. Economist Professor Hamish Lowe believes that future of work will involve a major transition across the whole life course for everyone. The traditional trajectory of full-time education followed by full-time work followed by a pensioned retirement is a thing of the past, says Lowe. Instead, he envisages a multi-stage employment life, one where retraining happens across the life course and where multiple jobs and no job happens by choice at different stages. On the subject of job losses, Lowe believes the predictions are found on the fallacy. It assumes the number of jobs is fixed. If in 30 years, half of 100 jobs are being carried out by robots, that doesn't mean we are left with just 50 jobs for humans. The number of jobs will increase. We would expect that to be 150 jobs. Dr. Ewan McGaughey at Cambridge Centre for Business Research and King's College London agrees that apocalyptic views about the future of work are misguided. It's the laws that restrict the supply of capital to the job market and not the advent of new technologies that causes unemployment. His recently published research answers the questions of whether automation, AI, and robotics will mean a jobless future by looking at the causes of unemployment. History is clear that change can mean redundancies, but social policies can tackle this through retraining and redeployment. He adds, if there is going to be change to jobs as a result of AI and robotics, then I would like to see government seizing the opportunity to improve policy to enforce good job security. We can reprogram the law to prepare for a fairer future of work and leisure. McGaughey's findings are a call to arms to leaders of organizations, governments, and banks to preempt the coming changes with bold new policies that guarantee full employment, fair incomes, and a thriving economic democracy. The promises of these new technologies are astounding. They deliver humankind the capacity to live in a way that nobody could have once imagined. Just just as the Industrial Revolution brought people past subsistence agriculture and the corporate revolution enabled the mass production, a third revolution has been pronounced. But it will not only be one of the technology, the next revolution will be social. So this is the third passage. So when we see the questions, the first paragraph tells us about. What does the first paragraph tell us about? It's going to be a multiple choice question. So again, I go to the first passage. So according to leading business consultancy, 3 to 14% of the global workforce will need to switch to a different occupation within next 10 to 15 years. And all workers will need to adapt as their occupations evolve alongside increasingly capable machines. So usually the first lines will give you the answers mostly. Automation is one aspect of disruptive effect of technology, and disembodied AI is an algorithm running in smartphones. So we go to the answers. That kind of jobs that will be most affected by the growth? No. The extent to which the AI will alter the nature of the work the people do. So I go with option B. So the difference between embodied will impact on workers. We don't have any impact on workers when we see the option D. The proportion of world's labor force who will have jobs in AI in the future. So that will also not come. The option B, the extent to which AI will alter the nature of the work that people will do. Because in first passage, I have 3 to 14% of global workforce will need to switch to a different occupation within 10 to 15 years. And all workers will need to adapt as their occupations evolve. Okay. And next is, according to second paragraph, what is Stella Pachdi's view of the knowledge economy? So knowledge economy is our keyword here.
Okay. What is the view of knowledge economy? So when we go to the passage, yeah, fundamental changes are happening. Fundamental changes are happening as a result of algorithmication of jobs that are dependent on data rather than production, the so-called knowledge economy. You understand? So when I come to the options here, it is having an influence on the number of jobs available. It is changing people's attitude towards their occupations. Main reason why the production sector is declining. And I go with the key factor driving the current developments in the workplace. Why? The keyword here is current development, because as we saw in the passage, it's happening as a result of, happening is nothing but the current development in the workplace. So I go with option D. What did Pachdi observe at the telecommunication company? So let us go to the telecommunication company, what Stella Pachdi has given. So for over 2 years, Pachdi observed or monitored a telecommunication company. The way telecom salespeople work is through personal and frequent contact with clients, using the benefit of experience to assess a situation and reach a decision. Company had started using algorithm that define when account managers should contact certain customers about kind of campaigns and what to offer them. So starts making sure that the AI produces the result they want. They make sure what the results they want to produce. So they just oversee that with the help of AI. In his recently published research, Evan McGaughey. So what does Evan McGaughey say about the recently published result? So I go with Evan McGaughey. So when I observed this, what I found is history is very clear that change can mean redundancies, but social policies can tackle this through retraining and redeployment. And also like going to be change in jobs as a result of AI and robotics, then I would like to see government seizing the opportunity to improve the policy to enforce good job security. So what does this means? Illustrates how changes in the job market can be successfully handled. It is not a negative thing or unemployment of the society or difference between the past and future jobs. No. So it says how to tackle the problem of unemployment through redevelopment and retraining. So I go with how could changes in the job market can be successfully handled. Handled is tackled. You understand? Okay. So with this, we go to the next 31 to 34. So summary completion. So we do have words in this box. Stella Pachdi of Cambridge Judge Business School has been focusing on the algorithmication of jobs, which rely not on production but on dash. So with this, I go to the passage now. So when I look at the passage, see, fundamental changes happening as a result of algorithmication of jobs that are dependent on data rather than production. So the answer here is data. So now I classify this word data with the box here. What do I obtain here? Data can be written as information. So I go with information. While monitoring a telecommunication company, Pachdi observed a growing dash on the recommendations made by AI. So again, I go to the passage. So telecommunications company. What does Pachdi say? Yes. See this. Keeper of knowledge, she explains, in this case, Pachdi believes a short-sighted view begins to creep into working practices, whereby workers learn through the algorithm's eyes and become dependent on its instructions. So here they depend on the instructions. Instructions are nothing but the recommendations made by AI. So dependency. What is the other word for dependency? Reliance. So monitoring telecommunication company, Pachdi observed a growing reliance on the recommendations made by AI as workers begin to learn through your algorithm eyes. Meanwhile, staffs are deterred from experimenting and using their own dash and are therefore prevented from achieving innovation. So deterred here is discouraged from experimenting and using their own dash. So with this, I go to the passage. So when we see at the passage, alternative explorations where experimentations and human instinct lead to progress and new ideas are effectively discouraged. So experimentation and human instinct. Human instinct, I again check this word human instinct with the words in box. I got the word intuition. So experimenting and using their own intuition are therefore prevented from achieving innovation. To avoid the kind of situation which Pachdi observed, researchers are trying to make AI's decision-making process easier to comprehend and to increase users' dash with regard to the technology. So this, I go to the passage again. So see this. It's scenarios like these that many researchers are working to avoid. Their objective is to make it trustworthy and transparent, so the organizations understand how AI decisions are made. So trustworthy means it's confidence. Hence, I go to the word confidence. I hope you understand how to complete a summary completion. Next, I go with questions 35 to 40. Here I have to match each statement with the correct person. Okay. A, B, C. So here A, B, C are nothing but Stella Pachdi, Hamish Lowe, Ivan Magoge. And there is a note here, you may use any letter more than once. So greater levels of automation will not result in lower employment. So when I have to understand this statement, greater levels of automation will not result in lower employment. Lower employment here means unemployment. Do you understand? So will not result in lower employment, will not result in unemployment means will result in employment. You understand? So with this, I go to the passage. So greater levels of automation will result in employment. So see this. See this. On the subject of job losses, Lowe believes the predictions are found on the fallacy. It assumes number of jobs is fixed. If in 30 years, half of the 100 jobs are being carried out by robots, that doesn't mean we are left with just 50 jobs for humans. The number of jobs will increase. We would expect that to be 150 jobs. You understand? So he says there is no greater levels of automation will not result in lower employment. So it is given by Hamish Law. You understand? So 35 is Hamish Law. There are several reasons why AI is appealing to business. So when I talk about business, the business here goes to Stella Patri. So we need to make sure fully understand the dilemmas of this new world regarding expertise, occupational boundaries, and control. So they depend on AI, which is given by Stella Patri. Hence, I go with Stella Patri. And AI's potential to transform people's lives has parallels with major cultural shift which occurred in previous eras. So this is nothing but major cultural shift that occurred in previous eras. So I go with Evan Margurge's passage. See this, just as industrial revolution brought people past subsistence agriculture and corporate revolution enabled mass production, a third revolution has been pronounced. So as we had agricultural revolution, industrial revolution, now we do have a technological revolution. You understand? This is given by Evan Margurge. So I go with the option Evan Margurge. You understand? And it is important to be aware of the range of problems that AI causes. So it is important to be aware of the range of problems that AI causes. Again, it goes to Stella Patri, because dilemmas is nothing but the problems. Dilemmas that new world rises regarding expertises. We make sure we fully understand the problems. So again, this is given by Stella Patri. And people are going to follow less conventional career path than in the past. So with this, I go to the passage now. Less conventional career path means nothing but conventional is traditional trajectory of full-time education followed by full-time work followed by a pensioned retirement is a thing of the past, says Law. You understand? So for this, it is given by Law, Hamish Law. This statement is given by Hamish Law. Authorities should take measures to ensure that there will be adequately paid work for everyone. Authorities is my keyword here. Again, I go to the passage. So here, see this, Evan Margurge's findings are a call to the arms to leaders of organizations, governments, and banks to preempt the coming changes with bold new policies that guarantee full employment, fair incomes, and a thriving economic democracy. So it is given by Margurge. You understand? So 40th answer is given by Evan Margurge. So this is the way you have to find the people. You understand? So with this, we'll end up this session here. Okay. I wish you all the best for your exams. Thank you.